And we're back to another episode of In the Frame. And today's a very special episode because beside me, we have Kris from Babaylan Soul Works. She is a psychic medium and spiritual guide based in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Give it up for Kris.
Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here.
Thanks for coming.
It was really cool when you guys reached out. I had no idea about the podcast, and I just was reading up on your website, and I just thought it was really cool that you're really getting to know some of the Winnipeg local businesses. So
Yeah, thank you. I just love hearing the stories of local entrepreneurs and small business owners, artists, musicians, and just to get them to tell their story and how they started and what they do. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell me what exactly you do?
So my name is Kris, and in my business, Babaylan Soul Works, I use my claircognizance gift of clear knowing. And right now, I started off by doing like psychic readings through tarot cards. However, as I'm starting this journey now, I'm recognizing that there are other things that I can probably do kind of down the line. So right now, I'm just kind of exploring what those might be, but focusing mostly on doing kind of one-on-one intuitive tarot readings. I started off with just doing family and friends for the last 2 years, and then it wasn't until this last December where like the name kind of just came to me, and then all of the life experiences that I had up until December, it all just kind of made sense and it all kind of clicked, and so that's just when I started.
Wow. Yeah. Can you tell me about Babaylan? What's so special about that name?
So when I was in my kind of like spiritual training to develop my gifts, I started in 2023. And so in 2024, I went back home to the Philippines from where I was born. I migrated to Canada when I was 3. And all of a sudden, my Instagram feed just had a bunch of like pre-colonial Filipino kind of information. So then I came across the term Babaylan. And so in pre-colonial Philippine time, Babaylans were usually female leaders in their community, and they were basically shamans. And so they had this gift of being able to communicate with spirits, ancestors, kind of like the other world. But specifically the role that they played in their communities were, if anyone in the community was having any troubles, kids got sick, or if the village was experiencing a drought or something, they would go to the Babaylan, and she would use her connection to ancestor spirits to pray for the community and to help heal those seeking help, specifically in the spiritual realm, but also in like physical ailments, things like that. And in their communities, they held the same kind of like leadership as a datu, which is a chief. And so any times that the villages had any like major decisions, the Babaylan and the chief had to be, or the datu had to be consulted. And so that's the role that they played in the communities. And so when I came across the name, I really resonated with the role that the Babaylan played in the community, because at the time it really resonated with my day job. So I was like, oh, this like works really well. And so that's where Babaylan came from.
Wow. Babaylan. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah. I had no idea. So it's been really cool, actually. This journey into Babaylan Soul Works and starting the business has also really reconnected me to my Filipino heritage, which has been an interesting experience too.
I love that. Yeah. So when did you start? So 2023 was when you started your business.
2025 is when I started my business. I started in January, did the whole registration, all of those pieces just this year. But it was in 2023 that I found out about the gift. So in 2015, I first met this psychic as part of my grieving process. I had lost 2 friends. So I saw her to just kind of help me grieve. And then at that time, I was going through a lot of mental health challenges right after high school. And I was having a really hard time just kind of surviving. And so over the years, I kind of worked on my mental health, whatever, worked with therapists, my GP to kind of stabilize my mental health. And then I got to a place where I learned about law of attraction, the universe, manifesting. And so at this point in time, I manifested a really big shift in my life because at the time my mental health was really, really poor. Like I couldn't function. And so when I got to that point of my life, I made that career shift into wanting to do some meaningful work. And then from there, like life was pretty good. Like life kind of stabilized for me starting 2021. And then in 2023, I remember driving to work and I would just get really, like I would get these visions almost of getting into a car accident. And at the time, I've never had that experience. So it was really weird. So this would have been 8 years after I saw her. And so something in me just told me to go and see her again.
So you haven't seen her in 8 years?
Yes,
and
in
you
8
just
years.
had that feeling?
Yeah, like it was the intuitive nudge, like go see Tita Dahlia. Because at the time, like my mental health had been stabilized for 2 years. So it was really, really weird for me to start getting these like visions and this anxiety when I would be driving about getting hit. So I'm like, hey, this isn't normal. So I went back to her, and then throughout the reading, she kind of just mentioned like, oh, it's a good thing that you came and saw me because only other gifted people can read you. So I'm like, can you just go back and just explain what you mean by that? And then she had shared that if someone isn't gifted, they would have a really hard time like reading you. And so you have a gift of clear knowing, intuition, so on and so forth. And so that's when I started to see her once a month just to learn more about it. And then that's when things kind of started making sense for me. Like I would reflect back on experiences that I had when I was a kid and when I was in high school, whatever, of just like weird kind of synchronicities or just situations that I couldn't explain. And so that's when I found out, and then I just started the business this year.
Wow. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
What was your earliest memory you have connected to spirits and spiritual?
That's a good question. The first thing that comes to mind was I was 5 or 6. I moved to Winnipeg, and I had this dream that my class was the only class out of a grade school from 1 to 8 that went out for recess. And then 2 weeks later it happened, and I'm like, oh, okay. That was my earliest memory, and then from then on I honestly had not the greatest connection to like that period of time. And then it wasn't until I was a little bit older, like 15, 16, when I would just get these knowings about things that would happen. And one of them would be like my husband. So he was my first boyfriend ever. And it was 2 years into our relationship, and I just got the knowing that like he's the one. And it was super weird because I'm just like, what do you, like, I couldn't explain it. Like no one told me it. It was just this inner knowing. And so when we would go through challenges in our early relationship, I'd be like, why am I being tested like this? Like, you're the one, but what's happening here? And then when we finally got married, there was just this shift that I just saw from him as soon as we got married that I didn't like ask for or anything like that. So it just kind of confirmed like, oh yeah, that knowing that I had when I first met him was true. See, when it comes to feelings like that, and I feel like often people will think of them as coincidences, but when it's reoccurring, like in your instances, that's where I can really see that it is a gift that you have, especially that early memory. I feel like when you're 5 or 6, that's not really a dream kids usually have. No, that's like a premonition, right? I guess,
is
what you'd call it. But
because I think when I was like 5 and 6, I was dreaming about like Hot Wheels. For sure. But wow. So Babaylan Soul Works, and you're based here in Winnipeg. What is your plan for this year?
So this year, the thing that kind of got me to formalize it as a business was just coming across spiritual events in Winnipeg. So I came across First Fridays in the Exchange, which are the First Fridays in the Exchange, and local businesses in the area will open up later in the night to get folks to just be in the Exchange District. There is this woman who holds a space there on Albert Street, and she's putting together this thing called Psychic Saturdays. And so it's every single Saturday after the First Friday. And so the whole idea is to bring business into the Exchange District.
Wow.
So I applied to be a vendor in February, and I had a really great experience. Super cool to connect with people just kind of walking by, and also the spiritual community in Winnipeg. And so for now, my plan is to, when my schedule allows, to just go there as a vendor on the Saturdays.
Psychic Saturdays.
Psychic Saturdays in the Exchange.
In the Exchange.
In the Exchange. And there's that piece. And then she also has one reading spot available on the First Friday as well.
Wow, that's really exciting.
And so it's like a first come, first serve basis for the First Fridays one, because space is limited. She usually has vendors who are selling items. And then one spot for readings. So I'm doing my first Friday this week, actually. And then the day after, I'm doing Psychic Saturday. So I'm trying to do an event in Winnipeg at least once a month. But other than that, I will also do readings from home. I do virtual readings as well. So right now, the plan is just to try and balance my day job with Babaylan SoulWorks, because right now, Babaylan is really filling up my cup. But trying to do it in a healthy way. So trying to just build my Instagram or be a bit consistent in it is really just the plan for 2025. And just kind of see where things go and what opportunities come up.
Wow. No, that's really exciting. And one of the earliest memories I have, memories I have with spiritual guides and psychics is my sister, Ate Megan, my older sister, older than the one that you're friends with, but she, before she moved to London, she went to the Forks, and she went to that the tarot card reading there. I don't think it's there anymore, but
I think they moved. I've been there, or I visited a few months ago, and I don't see that space anymore. There's a smaller spiritual store, but I don't know if they do readings there anymore.
But she did a card reading, and I was there with her. And the reader was saying that there's a big move that's about to happen, and then she wasn't even signed up to teach in London yet, and she didn't even have any plans on going there, and she sensed like a big move in her life, and then next thing you know, she talks to this guy who lives in London, and then they move in together, and they're still together, and it was just very, to me, that was the one time where I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Right. But how would you explain what you do to someone who has no idea what spiritual readings and tarot card readings and any of into that field? How would you explain it to someone?
So the way that I would explain how like a psychic medium or a spiritual medium can kind of like facilitate a reading, the way that I visualize it is like I believe in a higher power. So sometimes I will refer to it as the divine, universe, God. And so for me, the way that I understand it is that like with the gift that I have, if I'm doing a reading for someone, with their permission, I can kind of open like their door. And so as human beings, I visualize it as like we're just kind of walking down like this road, right? The higher power creates the road. Higher power creates different opportunities, paths for humans to have their free will to make that choice. And so when I do a reading, it's kind of like from the perspective of someone walking the path, I get the perspective of kind of like floating almost, because then I can kind of see like the paths ahead. So I can kind of get a sense of like the different kinds of paths that a person might have the opportunity to take. but it's still at the end of the day the individual's like free will.
Yeah.
So sometimes during a reading I might get a sense of or just have a knowing of something that could come. Sometimes it's like, what's the word? Like confirmed, but also sometimes it could be one of those things where it's like an option. So it really just depends.
Yeah.
A part of what a reading can be or is like is that if the person on the other side that is receiving the reading is like really open, then the more that they're able to share with me, kind of confirm and help me lead through the reading, like the better the reading can be. I've had experiences where like folks that I might be reading like aren't really giving me much. And so I can kind of give like a general overview and get a general sense of like the key like domains, like their career, like love, like family, things like that. But when the person is interacting with me in the reading, then I can get into like better details and things.
Exactly.
And just give them ultimately like a better experience. So, yeah.
Wow. No, that's great. So I think we're going to take a little break now. And when we get back, you're going to be doing a spiritual reading for Bea here, the crew member in the frame.
Excited.
And wow. Thank you.
I would love to learn more about that, like outside of here for you. But
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, you guys ready whenever?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So I usually start off with a short prayer, and then I include your full name, and then we just kind of go into it. And then throughout the reading, you can ask me like certain questions if you want to clarify on anything, or like you can just kind of see how it goes. So God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, I want to thank you for being with myself and Bea Joy Bermudo Jamie. I'd like to ask for you to lift her soul up and open her door during this reading so that I can share what messages you have for Bea. So career. Are you at a place right now where you're like looking to make a shift in your career, or just curious about where you're currently at?
A shift.
A shift.
For sure, yeah.
Okay. So are you feeling like unhappy currently in your current career, or is it just more so like you've just been having ideas of like what it is that you really want to do with your energy?
I think happy. I think actually I'm overflowing with so much ideas, fantasies, and just like goals that I want to reach.
Yeah.
And I feel like my team and I, we're making steps to doing so. So I kind of just wanted like more clarity on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. So like I'm getting the sense that you aren't in a place. So sometimes when folks are coming through like a career change, it can be like because you're doing really unwell. So right now it's not like you're coming from that place. You're just wanting to be more inspired with what lights up your soul. And so a part of like that journey for you will really be taking a look at any of those like doubts that you might have like in the back of your mind, and just kind of like keeping it in check. That's one thing that might kind of hinder you as you move through this shift. Right now there is this energy that's coming through, and it's not necessarily like a romantic energy, but it is like a male energy of people, or maybe one person who is really supportive of you right now and helping you make that shift. Does that ring a bell, or does that seem like...
Yes, there's two of them.
Nice.
2 guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's a platonic kind of like energy, and like they're just really solid people in your life. Oh, I'm getting like mad goosebumps because I can like feel them. Oh, that's so sweet. And they like really see you as someone who they can come to as like reliable, has the knowledge, like someone who they can really trust. So whoever those people are in your life, continue to show up in the way that you have been, and you'll be okay. Yeah.
I like that.
Have you also been having like times where you're kind of doing more like reflection or pouring into your self-care in different ways?
Yeah.
Have you been experimenting with some of that?
Nothing crazy, but more through like conversation. Like my favorite way is with my siblings. The 3 of us really like to self-reflect on pretty much anything that we do.
Yeah.
Accomplishments, or even things that don't go so well. But anything that we feel that we need to let go, or ways that we could just be better in general for each other, for our family, for our careers. Yeah, just in general.
Oh, I love that. So I'm getting the sense that they're the kinds, like the relationship that you have with your siblings is like, even when you aren't doing well, not to say that you are right now not doing well, but like those times when you aren't, like they really do have your back. And that's amazing. Like they really do just want to see you succeed. And so that's amazing. I love that. Like it's not always, at least in my experience growing up, like with my sister, it's like, well, it wasn't always that way. So that's good to hear that it is for you.
Thank you. Yeah. No, they're a solid group. Aww. They're like my best friends, to be honest.
That. So there's 4 of you guys?
There's 3 of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So this card actually came up earlier. We first pulled that.
I saw that.
And then also here's the strength. And then there's also balance here. So in this shift that you're making in your career, it's important that you continue to just do and pour into the things that like genuinely light you up. And that's a privilege for sure. Like some people, when they go through life, like it's not always the practical way of making a living, doing the things that you love. But the more that you're able to strengthen the faith that you have in yourself and the ability to actually pull through with those ideas that you have, you will manifest that into your life, right? And so continuing to stay connected to those solid people who can help like really just keep your mood up and the way that you have your mentality set for the shift that you're doing, the more success you'll have.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
You can ask.
Of course.
What are some obstacles that I should keep eye on?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah.
Whether that be anything, just in general.
Yeah. Just in general with career or like?
I think actually like relationship, not like a romantic relationship, but people that I'll have to like encounter with.
Yeah. So when it comes to that, don't be afraid to like take some time before you respond to things or people or opportunities. That's a good way to be able to kind of protect yourself and kind of check in with yourself before moving into things, especially when it comes to meeting new people. Not to say that like you're gonna meet in someone inherently bad for you, because none of that is coming up right now. It's more so like because you're venturing off into a new space, you just have to gain the experience of like really good people, people who have the best intentions for you, and then people who might just kind of want a specific thing that maybe in working with you that fuels them.
Yeah.
Like sometimes people have different motives.
Right.
So it's totally correct for you to just slow down first before you make a decision, even if sometimes the opportunity might be like, oh, like this is so exciting. Like this is too good to be true type of situation presented to you. Not to say that it will be too good to be true, but just having that awareness will help you kind of weed out situations or people that will drain your energy and not give you the energy or the love that you deserve.
And you do feel that like when you'll be around certain energies, I guess, you're like drained at the end of it.
Yes.
Right? Going to bed is like nice.
Yeah. And so like the more that you recognize, or the more, if you can recognize the certain kinds of people or situations or even environments that you do feel that, if you're able to recognize that and then just be mindful of staying away from that person, situation, or maybe kind of environment, it'll protect you more. One thing that can happen to anyone really is just like, getting sucked into negative energy or people. And kind of looking or seeing it in the surface way where it's like, oh, they can teach me all of these things. They can be a mentor for me in this career. But if for whatever reason you're getting like that intuitive feeling and knowing that like, no, something's not right and I'm constantly being exhausted at the end of the day for whatever reason, listen to that, because that's your internal guide trying to keep you safe. I've had those experiences where I'm like really stubborn and I'm just like, no, I'm going to keep doing something because it is stability. It's whatever. even though like I would be
Your gut's telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just so follow your gut. Yeah. You also noted relationship here. Do you have a specific one in mind? Friendship, romantic?
Romantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's go. Ooh, there's a few that came out, so let me just pull for that. Ooh, are you like in the middle of a choice right now? Like,
Oh.
of like maybe different people or like different like ways that you're spending your time, like in the romantic kind of way?
Yes, to the second one. I am in a relationship, but I think not a but we're both pursuing our careers, and we've been together for a while, but we've kind of had the conversations of like, oh wow, like we're not old, but we're getting to the age of like, you know, wanting to settle, wanting to have kids and all that, but I think we just are having a hard time kind of figuring out where we're gonna head. Like we know we'll be together, but it's like we also want to prioritize our relationship because it's been a while.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because what's coming up is that for you, like you're really trying to find that balance in what fills up your cup and how you can show up in the lives of the people closest to you, while your partner is getting more of like, they're doing some deeper thinking about how they can keep you guys kind of like stable in a way, like he or they are trying to like really figure out like, you know, like I really want to set us up for success in the future. And not to say that he feels like he's alone, but for whatever reason I'm getting the sense that like he could probably be talking to you more about some of the choices, but for whatever reason I'm getting the sense that he has taken on like this role in his mind where he's like, no, I have to do it by myself, like I'm gonna let her have fun and do whatever and I'm gonna do all the heavy thinking. But it's like there's no need for that if he is already experiencing that. A part of it is definitely going to need to be the both of you just having like just clear conversations about where you guys want to go, what you want to do, and just really collaborating on where you guys want to go, whether that's like moving somewhere or whether that's like experiencing certain things maybe before you kind of settle down. I think for you, like getting clear on what you want first before coming to that conversation will be really helpful for you, because what can happen sometimes is like before even checking with yourself, you just think about the other person naturally because you love them, right? But for you, it will be really important to just quiet yourself first to get a sense of what you want before you have that conversation with them. And then when you do, it's going to be much more not like a healthy conversation, but it'll be much more proactive. Like it'll go over much better. Yeah, so the things with your relationship is that like he really does just want the best for you, and he really wants to set you guys up in a way where it's like you can continue to just dream, but in a practical way, if that makes sense. Like having the balance between the two is something that is prevalent for the both of you. Do you have any other questions with
I have
them
one last
in
one.
general?
What does the remaining year look like for me?
That's a good question. The year, there's a lot of the year left. I don't know if you believe in astrology, but it is like the astrological new year in April. So it's like new beginnings. So it's actually a really great time to be like thinking about that. That's where I've been mentally in the last few months, because like January and March are like Pisces season, like that's the season of really slowing down, and Aries season is the season to really start up again. So for the rest of the year, you will get to experience all of the things that you want in terms of like material happiness, material experiences, things like that, as long as you continue to keep yourself grounded. So however you continue, or however you currently keep yourself grounded, the more that you can incorporate those routines, practices in your life, the more what is it? Like the more you'll be able to experience some of those like travel experiences, those experiences in your career, and things like that. But that's like kind of the key part, but it's all there for you. You just really got to stay grounded is the message now. Yeah.
That's crazy because this is my favorite tarot card.
Oh, really? The High Priestess? Yeah. She's a good one. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, if you can see here, like, the moon, whenever these cards come up for me in a reading, like, I kind of think of it like the present you and then the future you, because they kind of, like, look similar. So what is to come in this year for you is also quite a lot of growth, like, internally. So you might already have been starting that or been experiencing like shifts in your values or shifts in how you spend your energy and your time. This year is going to be really, really strong for some of those changes to take place. It's going to be a really transformational year, specifically when it comes to your mental space and then your values.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love that.
Anything else?
I think I'm good.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank
so
you.
You're welcome.
There's the music.
So.
Wow. That was crazy. How did you think that went?
I think it went well. When I'm in readings, often I'll get like this feeling like around my body, like I call them tingles because I don't have a better word for it.
Spidey senses.
No, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so like I have them all over. And so sometimes like during the readings, like I just connect to like the energy of the person or sometimes the people who come up in the energies. So it felt really good for me.
Yeah. No, how did it feel, Bea?
It was great. No, honestly, yeah. It was good to hear. It's nice to hear some sort of clarity. Yeah. Like I know it's not like your mom and your dad can tell you these things of this reassuring you, but like you said, like I also felt like a comfort in the words you were saying too. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love to hear that because that's literally why I started this is just to give that exact comfort to people. Because I felt like when I was going through really hard times in my life, like that's all I wanted was to feel some kind of comfort and to feel like it'll all be okay. And that's what spirituality and, readings do for myself. And when I see that with the clients that I work with, it just, it makes me so excited.
No, thank you so much for doing that here, especially in the studio. We don't have that much space here, but we made it happen.
It's all good. It was really fun.
But for anybody out there who is looking to have a spiritual reading done, you can go to Babaylan Soul Works. Everything will be linked on wherever I post. But other than tarot card readings, what other things do you offer?
So right now I'm just focused on the tarot readings. I am this year working on developing my ability to do mediumship. So that would be connecting with spirits directly. I have had a few experiences where I've connected with spirits and I didn't like do it intentionally. So this is the year where I'm like, okay, kind of want to just like make sure I have that under control. But soon I would want to expand the readings to include that. The way that I kind of practice is like I'm not trying to pull nothing out of my ass. And I'm also not trying to do anything in an unsafe way. So until I get that that experience, I won't be doing that yet. Right now, I also do like cleansing. So I often will cleanse my home with frankincense, medicines, and then soon I'll be looking to be able to do that for other people, either in their homes or within themselves, to help them just feel grounded or just remove any energies that they might be identifying as not their own.
Exactly.
I also do that.
Wow. No, that's amazing. So First Fridays, Psychic Saturdays, Kris every day.
Yes.
Babaylon Soul Works.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in the frame.
Thank you so much for having me.
If there's anything you want to say now.
Thank you all for tuning in. DJ and Bea have been awesome. I really hope you guys continue to watch them. And if you ever feel some type of weird shit going around you, then you know where to find me. I'll help out.
In the Frame with Deej. Welcome to the next episode of In the Frame. In the Frame.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my...
You're thinking too much, buddy. It's just a coffee bean.
Oh, frick.